Yeah. Tap it. Oh, we're live. It's 6:30 on what the hell is today? Saturday, January 29th, 2022. Live, not really, from the Jersey Shore. It's a little chilly, a little blizzardy. Can't even see the ocean. Ooh. I'm so glad I'm in Bethesda where it was sunny and we just had a dusting of snow.
Keep going, baby. Keep going.
I can't.
Keep going.
No, come on, you wore me out taking me to the DC Auto Show today.
We officially have the dad cam. So just for everyone playing along at home, we have a dad cam tonight. So get excited for that. We can turn to the dad cam.
Can I tell you who's not excited about that?
Who?
The same guy that went to the auto show today.
All right, God. Saturday night. Thanks for joining us. We're half hour early.
Why?
Well, I've got a party to go to, and you're tired.
I am,
and I'm tired too.
This to me is my party.
This is my party as well. Thanks everyone for joining us here. We're going to talk about some of the
You think Natalie will watch?
Okay, Dad.
If she does, can I just say happy birthday? A shout out to Natalie. Happy birthday, Natalie.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. You know what? That's going to get the first of the night. Where is it?
The Rashevska stamp.
Which we also have a stamp of approval button that we can.
Boy. Yeah. It was like pterodactyls coming down.
All right. So here's the deal, Dad.
Yes.
Tonight we're going to talk about initially some anti-consumer things that have been going on. We've talked about them quite a bit
since the beginning of time.
We're going to talk about some of the anti-consumer things going on. Then we're going to open up the phone lines, take a couple phone calls tonight, see if we can help the YA community, and then we'll probably call tonight. Okay, nothing too involved.
Well, you're busy. You got things to do. Me, I gotta get back to my apartment and maybe watch TV with my eyes closed.
Fair enough. All right, I'm gonna jump over to the YAA website really quick, and actually, we'll do it this way. We're gonna jump over to the YAA website, back on resources under blog, Dad. There was this law that was proposed in the state of Florida. This is the latest and greatest in the anti-consumer realm.
Yes, I've hardly ever ranted about this, but yes.
This is to solve Carvana's title issues, and it's going to parlay us into another law that's been proposed in the state of Georgia.
My guess is it's also going to solve that particular senator's money needs for campaign funding needs.
He'll have as any car he possibly wants.
Yeah.
So a new bill was.
Sir, I'll never get the title. If he gets his way, hey, he should have gotten it, but it's okay if he doesn't get it.
Oh my gosh, we're already getting a phone call.
Oh my God.
Wait a second. I got to put do not disturb on. Hang tight. We're not ready for phone calls quite yet, gang. No. Give us a second here.
Okay.
Good.
Sure.
I guess we probably should take the phone call. Anyway, this is a state senator in Florida. So this is not federal. This is at the state level, and this is in Florida.
Yeah, Tommy, I'd rather be right than wrong.
Okay.
Senator Tom Wright.
Here's the screenshot from the Florida State Senate website. I've got it down here, the actual language. Motor vehicles, providing that motor vehicle dealers or mobile home dealers should apply for rather than are required to obtain certificates of title in the name of purchasers, providing that certain applications relating to transfers of motor vehicles or mobile homes should, rather than must, be filed within a certain time frame, revising grounds on which the Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles may deny, suspend, or revoke a motor vehicle dealer license. Essentially, if you haven't been playing along at home, Carvana, go to the Better Business Bureau page, look up Carvana title issues. Left and right, they have a class action lawsuit actually right now because they haven't been able to get title and registration into customers' hands.
And they have some severe issues with titling issues in the state of Florida.
And now SB 1346 from Tom Wright has been proposed that essentially says
you should, not must.
You should have a title.
Yeah, you should. It's not a must. It's not a must.
I mean, that's not a good look, is it?
Well, if his platform is, hey, I'm here for the corporate money, then that's a good look. If his platform is, I'm all about the consumer, well, he's selling them all down the river.
Yeah. I mean, you really can't imagine a world where the selling organization isn't actually facilitating the transfer of the title and it's just all put back on the consumer.
And isn't necessarily required to. They should. Yeah. Hey, if you forgot, whatever, we understand. People make mistakes. Corporations make mistakes. Things happen. You should have. But it's okay. You didn't. You should have. It's okay. Not you must. Not you have to. Not it's part and parcel of your obligation in selling the vehicle and collecting money to have done it. It's all right.
Hey, thank you. This is Mando. We appreciate you jumping in here. Quick one. I work for a Ford partner company. Is this the best deal? Is the best deal I can negotiate? Is this the best deal I can get as far as MSRP? I'm trying to think. I know we've seen some Chrysler deals below MSRP. I don't think we've seen much on Ford.
I
below MSRP.
I think it probably depends on the model at the moment as to whether or not a Ford dealer is willing to accept any of these preset pricing structures.
Yeah.
In a lot of cases, they're not.
X-Plan
Yeah.
and- yeah.
In a lot of cases, they're not. But in some cases, I think we're starting to find out that they are.
Yeah.
And the only way to find out for sure is to ask.
And you were speaking with this kind of, we'll get back on the anti-consumer piece in just a second here.
Yeah.
You were talking to one of your friends who's in the business. January's been slow,
Mhm.
really slow.
They were hoping this was a big weekend.
We'll have to hear.
I'll find
yeah.
out Monday whether or not it was.
Especially on the used car side. There
Yes.
is now negotiating leverage to be had on the used car side, but that's from a place where the prices were through the roof to begin with.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, from what I understand.
Okay, let us.
We should. We have declared ourselves consumer advocates.
Yeah.
And I would think as consumer advocates, we should. No, we must.
buy a car from Carvana.
No, we must always advocate on behalf of the consumers. But if we were in Florida, we should. We don't have to. we don't have to, but we should. We were thinking about doing it.
We got busy.
There's a party. Stuff was going on. The title clerk was, she just forgot.
All right. I want to turn to the memos, and then I want to go to this from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. But before that, Dad,
Yes.
we're on the anti-consumer front for the beginning of tonight's show.
Yes.
Is this the beginning and the end of car dealerships? This was an editorial piece that I drafted.
Oh my God.
And it was really based around the Ford and GM memos that were sent out now.
The BS memos. Yeah, go ahead. The PR memos. Yeah.
It was fascinating being at the Washington, D.C. auto show today, and you had like Ford everywhere and you had Chevy everywhere.
Yeah.
You had quite the funny comment when we were walking over to Stellantis.
Yeah. Well, if you're looking for a step down in quality, this is where you'd go. Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
But what I want to come to here, Dad, is we've essentially got the it's primarily in the Ford memo where they said you can't resell your car. You're locked into it for a year.
No. They
This is
didn't
why we're a
say
duo.
you can't. They said you should add this addendum to the contract. The dealer should.
Yep.
And if the consumer signs it, then they're obligated because it's now an addendum to the contract. The consumer can refuse to sign it. I suppose the dealer could then refuse to sell it to the consumer.
Yeah.
But at that point, everybody has decisions to make.
Yeah.
That's all. As somebody once said, as my dear friend once said, when it comes to contracts, you can either accept it, reject it, or modify it.
But it was interesting the fact that Ford went the route of essentially saying
they're looking to modify their sales agreements with the customer saying, hey, the Lightning's going to be hot. We don't want you reselling it for a year. You have to own it for at least a year.
Yeah.
Now, when I do my employee deals
Yeah.
on my minis, I'm no longer an employee, so I don't get them anymore. But when an employee does that at a BMW or a mini store, they sign a form that they'll keep the car for a minimum of a year.
Well,
Yeah. And if they don't, then
that's on employee deals?
Yeah.
That's
Well,
fascinating.
that's because, employee deals for Mini and BMW, it's for Mini, it was invoice less $1,750. If you leased it, there was no lease acquisition fee. The dealer couldn't mark up the money factors.
Mhm.
I mean, if there were any consumer rebates or loyalty rebates, you got those as well.
Mhm.
So yeah, and all the dealer made for allowing his or her employee to get a car was a $250 delivery fee.
Wow.
So
No, I hear you.
yeah.
We've got in the chat here where to go. This is from Will B. Truckin. Will they ever start making the Maverick again? Yeah, that was a story that came out earlier this week. That
Well, they're
paused on
just
reservations.
They're stopping reservations.
We saw
because-
the Maverick today at the auto show.
yes,
As a tiny truck.
but bigger than a Santa Cruz.
Yeah, it was interesting. You actually saw like the Hyundai Santa Cruz. You walk past
Mhm.
that, then you walk over to the Ford Maverick, and
Yeah.
they're similar
Yeah, but the Maverick's bigger.
a little bit.
Yeah. The problem is if you're Ford and you've already gotten God knows how many hundreds of thousands of reservations, and you're only capable of producing 85,000 trucks this year, then what's the point of continuing to take reservations and then saying to those people that are now placing a reservation, your truck might be ready sometime in late 2023.
Yeah.
Most people aren't going to wait that long. And then some of the comments that we received in regards to the video we did on that is how little conversation there has been between Ford and the customer who's placed the reservation and whose reservation might have been converted to an order.
Yeah.
And how even less conversation there's been between the dealership and the consumer. So the consumer's placed the reservation, might have converted it to an order, and doesn't hear anything from anybody. Nobody is updating the consumer. I mean, basically what they're doing is they're setting themselves up for complete failure, because the people are going to be upset that nobody's in touch with them.
Yeah. No, it's pretty obvious that they're running into the same.
And here's the sad reality. It's not like that the salespeople can go, oh, I've just been so busy with customers. There's just so much going on. There's so much inventory I had to move around. They asked me to go help the lot attendants park cars because there's just no. All they have is free time at this point. Yeah. And they're not using that free time to communicate with their customers. It's pure nonsense.
Here we go from Justice. Ordered a Cybertruck 2 years ago. All caps, zero communication since the order. All my delay info has been through the media.
And Justice, by the way, the Cybertruck's been delayed until sometime in 2023. And perhaps this time next year, I'll let you know that it's been delayed in 2024.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got from Scott asking us, was the new Toyota Sequoia at the show? We didn't see the Toyota Sequoia.
No, I don't think so.
No, we spent a lot of time. We were checking out the 4Runner. We were checking out. They had, what the hell's the fuel cell one with the $20,000 that it said.
The Murray?
Yeah, they got the Murray there.
And they had a Taco Tuesday.
They had a really cool Tacoma.
That had like a camper back.
Toyota really didn't have anything too attention grabbing there, though, in my opinion.
No, but they had
the most cars.
Yes,
there.
And they had the largest display area, and it was absolutely the first display area.
Yes.
And quite honestly, the highlight for me was that in a lot of the SUVs, I just tried to come up with a measurement as to, well, how many dads can you fit in the back of, not back seat, but the back cargo area of an SUV.
So pop on your headphones really quick, Pops.
Okay. So that was the highlight to me.
Yeah, and I'll share this with everyone. I think actually, let me do it this way real quick. There you go. You can see my screen. So if you follow us on Instagram, you would know, this is my dad getting out of a Bronco.
And why anyone would follow us is get out of the truck. At least so I can safely and softly land on the ground.
10 out of 10 landing.
Yeah.
And then today, yes, we were at the auto show. And so does your
sounds.
Moment of truth. Don't hurt yourself.
Here we go.
Don't hurt yourself.
Here we go. Get in.
Don't.
Wait a second. Don't want to crush my phone. My gosh.
And this is the dynamic.
This would make a lovely home. Fold down those seats. There's plenty of room. Oh my goodness.
So you got to follow us on Instagram, because we spent the entire day, my dad trying to figure out.
Not the entire day.
We spent over an hour. No wonder you're tired.
Yeah. And a big part of the day was first trying to find a place to park in downtown Washington, DC.
Yeah, that was something else.
The best part was when I did a U-turn to make it to a spot.
Let's turn to one other article that I think is worth bringing up tonight. Let me share the screen once more. Sorry for all the back and forth, guys. But this comes
making me nauseous.
This comes from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Guys.
Yeah.
So out of the state of Georgia.
Yeah.
Bill would let Rivian sell electric
Bill
vehicles.
Who? Oh, a legislator.
It's the same bill we were dealing with in Florida.
Tom Wright.
From Tom Wright. Yep.
No. This is from somebody Jones.
Because that's how Senates work. Like in one state you have.
Yeah, no, I get it.
And then another.
Yeah, sure. Could all be the same people.
You don't know. Bill would let Rivian sell electric vehicles directly to Georgians.
Yeah.
It's fascinating. We had an article that was back. So this is Senate Bill 398, sponsored by Ben Watson. So this is fascinating because
And Burt Jones.
Automotive News last year did a roundup of all the different states. I think it was 14 at the time that had proposed language that it was essentially carved out the franchise dealer laws to let electric vehicle makers sell directly to consumers. And here's another one.
Yes, and the reason for this is because the state is already planning on spending $125 million to help Rivian.
Yep.
And Rivian is committed to spending billions of dollars to build a plant there and a facility there that's going to create, as they all like to say, 7,500 or more good paying jobs. Now, I don't know who gets to decide if they're good paying or not, other than, I guess, the company says, no, we're pretty sure they're good paying.
Yeah.
I remember years and years and years ago when we ran an ad once and we said, come in, make us an offer. No reasonable offers refused. And there was an addendum to that. Yeah, we get to determine what's reasonable and what's not you. Yeah. So there's 7,500 good paying jobs. Not paying anywhere near what the CEO gets. Hey, but you should be happy with your $15 an hour.
But we're definitely seeing this push towards, manufacturers selling directly to consumers. Tesla paved the way there.
Well, they're trying there in Georgia because they're going to make a big investment there, and they figure for that big investment that the Georgia legislature should rewrite some of the arcane laws regarding how vehicles can be sold in Georgia.
Absolutely.
Now, the Georgia Dealers Association is
going to fight back tooth and nail.
Oh, yes, they will. Yeah,
there's a lot of money
big bucks.
We'll be trucking. All right, we're going to go to the chat, and also let me just pop up this banner if you do want to call us.
Yes,
that's going to be the phone number to dial us at 800-674-5042. Different number, new number. So let me actually keep my headphones.
We got a new number?
Got a new number.
Okay.
Excuse me. All right, there we go. And I want to pull up Will Be Trucking here. Where'd that go? You guys should talk about the semi-used market. We just traded our 2018 Freightliner with 636,000 miles on it. Market value of $126,000.
How many more miles does it have left, Will Be?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean,
how much was the Freightliner new, if I may ask?
Yeah, if you could share that with us, that's fascinating. Joe's got a question. I can get X-Plan on an Escape PHEV?
Yeah.
PHEV. Question is, I know, just kidding. Question is, lease or buy? If buy, is best time to resell around the 3-year mark? Thanks. It's interesting. I mean, people want to kind of like play the depreciation curve, but I don't know if that's necessarily. If you're buying it, buy it to keep it, right?
Yeah, one would think.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're buying it just to sell it, then make sure it's paid off in 3 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That
was my
Douglas. Sorry, I missed you guys' auto show. I was there Wednesday. How come Chevy was the only GM brand there? Yeah, that's a good point. Chevy was the only GM brand that was there.
Yeah. Well, there were other brands that weren't there at all.
Yeah. So let's talk about that really quickly. So at the Washington Auto Show, there was no Mercedes-Benz, no BMW. There was no Honda had a very small area.
Acura had a
very small. Yeah, like it was nothing special.
Subaru had every car that they had available in America.
Oh my
was at the auto show.
Yes, every single car Subaru possibly had that's manufactured.
And you can get more than one dad in the back of an Outback.
Yes, again, check Instagram for that.
Yeah.
Tyler wants to know, what are your thoughts on Tesla? I'm a Toyota fan myself, but I do think Tesla is very interesting.
I think Tesla's interesting. I've never spent any time in a Tesla. I've never driven a Tesla.
That'll probably change soon.
Yeah. I believe that Elon Musk thinks of them more as a software company than he does as a car or truck company.
Mm-hmm.
I know when they first started building cars, and there were people out there that bought them and tore them down, and then went to Tesla and said, okay, here's all the things you're doing wrong in the way you're manufacturing the cars, and here's how you should manufacture them, and you could save weight and you could save time.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, it's a relatively young company, and obviously the growth that they're experiencing is pretty phenomenal, and it's remarkable in the sense that people really seem to like the concept of being able to buy directly from them. Because you don't get to negotiate the price, and you don't have to go through all the hassle of dealing with the dealership personnel, and I get that. But
We got to get you behind the wheel of one. So I was just seeing.
Yes.
Okay, the phone number is working. Okay,
Okay.
we got to get you behind the wheel of one. I
Well,
think
we
that
know the phone number works. Somebody called before.
we have 2 phone numbers,
Oh my God, boy!
but
we are
one
big time.
one goes to Warren.
Oh,
One comes to us. I
Okay.
don't want him to all go to Warren tonight because it's Saturday night. I don't want him to be like, "What the hell's going on?"
is
But
he going to a party?
I have no clue. I didn't ask
Okay.
him. We really do need to get you behind the wheel of one. I think we'll do
Yeah.
that. If you didn't see, we did the Genesis review this past week.
Yes.
The BMW review is coming out next week. The Ford Bronco review is coming out this upcoming week as well. But we'll get you behind the wheel of a Tesla. I'm very intrigued to see what your
Well,
experience is like.
I've only driven an electric vehicle one time, which was the electric Mini Cooper. And if I drove it 2 miles, I drove it a lot. But it was interesting. It was interesting. It's amazing the pickup that they have.
Definitely.
It's obviously amazing how quiet they are. I know there's a lot of people out there that are betting big money that electric vehicles are the future. I'm just not one of them, but that's because I'm 70 and all I've known in my entire life is internal combustion engine vehicles, and that's what I'm comfortable with.
Yeah, no, I totally hear you. I'm turning off the phone line because we haven't had anything come in. So I'm going to take these off my temples and let's just
Yes.
go through the chat. We got a couple more things in here, Pops, that I want to pull up. This comes from Anyvare. Hey, Anyvare.
Yeah.
Was the DC car show busy or crowded?
It was relatively crowded, not
what-
overly crowded.
What would you say was the most, the busiest section within the car show? I remember distinctly what it was for me.
Well, around the Corvettes, there were, and I'm looking at the Corvettes, and I know Zach has me scheduled to drive a Corvette Stingray on February 11th. So I was looking at it, just trying to figure out, well, am I going to have to get on my hands and knees to get into it, or am I just going to kind of have to roll out of it? I'm hoping it's good weather that day in case I do have to crawl along the ground.
Yep. But the Corvettes were definitely where there was the biggest crowd.
Yes.
I mean, they were by much.
Honestly, there weren't. I mean, it wasn't. It's a Saturday, and it wasn't overwhelming anywhere in there.
No.
But I'm sure they. I don't know. There were too many players that were missing. There were too many car brands that weren't there. I don't know if it's considered a major auto show. As I said to Zach, if we're ever going to go to another auto show, and I'm not fond of auto shows, but if we go to one, the next one we'll go to is in Geneva. And I'm not talking Illinois.
I'll try and make it happen. Neil's got
Yeah.
a great question. How
Yeah.
do they dig up so many vehicles when the dealers can't get them? And it was fascinating. They had this incredible looking Ford F-250, and you go to the back of it, it has a Ted Britt sticker on it. And that's
Yeah.
the dealership that it came from.
Because Ford didn't have one to send to the show.
Can you talk a little bit about how they source cars for these and how the dealers feel about giving inventory to go sit in a convention
I
hall?
can tell you there's been times, and this was long before the pandemic, where they try and time everything out perfectly, and oftentimes what would happen is the cars wouldn't get there in time.
Yep.
And so then they'd go to their local dealer body and say, hey, can you give us one of these, one of these, one of these? The dealers hate to put their cars in the auto shows because those cars are unlocked. There's millions or thousands of people that are going through the cars. When you get them back, there are things that are either missing or broken.
Yep.
For all your effort and energy, the manufacturer will then re-invoice the car to you at a slightly lower cost to make up for the aggravation. And as I said to Zach walking through the auto show today, it's not like anybody in there is buying anything. And most of the manufacturers that I worked for, they always expected the local dealers to send their salespeople there, commissioned salespeople. Not salaried salespeople, commissioned salespeople, and you can just begin to imagine how a salesperson who works on commission would want to be told that he's got to spend 8 or 10 hours at an auto show, where he really doesn't have the prospect of selling anything, of closing a deal, of being able to provide for himself and his family. It's their cars, the manufacturer's cars. They're the ones that have decided to rent the square footage and to put up the displays. They're their cars. They should staff it.
Yeah, no, I hear you. All right, we got a couple things going on in the chat here that I want to pull up. Pops first from Professor X. Thank you for the
Well, thank you
contribution.
so much. Yes.
A 2022 Yukon AT4 has the exact options I want in a state 1,700 miles away. What are your thoughts on shipping versus driving it? Haven't bought it yet.
Well, if you ship it, my guess is that it's probably going to cost you $750 to $1,000 to ship it. I sold cars to people from all over the country, and they'd fly in. We'd pick them up at the airport, and they drive back home. They'd make an adventure out of it.
Yeah.
Whether or not you want to take a 1,700-mile adventure is up to you. I don't know how to answer that
But
question.
I mean, you've mentioned sometimes in the past, their cheaper shipping rates are going to be on open air.
Absolutely, yes.
And open
Which
air.
is the way most cars are shipped anyway.
But you also have shared with me many stories over the years.
Yeah, stuff happens.
Cars get damaged.
Of course they do.
So it's kind of worth bearing that in mind as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be. It just. I mean, we had somebody that we helped get a car that lived in Indiana, is it, or Illinois?
Yeah.
And the car was out here in Silver Spring, and he and his son flew out here, bought the car, and they made it a father-son trip, and bonding time for the two of them. So it depends. It depends, I guess, on what it is you're trying to accomplish, and if you want to make it an experience, I mean, it certainly could be fun to to drive it home and do something special.
That Freightliner
was 153,000 new,
and with 626,000 miles
I
sold.
thought it was 636,000, which is what makes it worth 126,000 today. Oh my God, that's crazy! Wow is right. I spent a career in the wrong end of the automotive industry.
That's crazy. That's incredible.
Yeah.
We got a comment here from Drew after watching the video with David Chow.
Yes.
Which was awesome.
Yes,
Thank you,
thought
David.
so.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you haven't watched that video yet, David did an
Yes.
incredible job. Regarding the chip shortage and his predictions, would you expect that summertime is a better time to buy a car?
I think if you listen carefully to what David said, that he sees light at the end of the tunnel that others may not see, but he also sees light at the end of the tunnel 12 to 18 months from now, not 6 months from now.
Yep.
So bear that in mind. I don't think if you're hoping that there's going to be a truly significant increase in cars at dealership lots that aren't already spoken for by summertime, I think you'll probably end up being somewhat disappointed based on the conversation we had with David.
Yeah. And he's optimistic, which is great.
Yeah.
If you watch to the very end of that video, he talks about his friends over at Boston Consulting Group, and they're very smart people, but he disagrees. He thinks that things will get better sooner, which we hope is right.
Absolutely. We hope he's right. But, we're all trying to project what the future is going to be, and nobody's ever really been.
If we keep seeing softening demand, though, that's going to drive prices down. So if people stop buying cars, that's still going to push prices down. That's basic supply and demand.
Yes, absolutely.
We've got here from Laquita. Howdy, guys. Has a customer ever taken advantage of a dealer? And the reason I queued this up, Pops, is because we started tonight with This is Anti-Consumer. We talked about the law that's being proposed in the state of Florida, and we also talked about Ford with the no resale clause and things like that.
Yes.
I think this question that Laquita brought up is a really good one. You've shared with me one time in the past the worst you were ever kind of taken for.
And it was my own fault.
But let's kind of cue that up.
There was a situation where I had somebody trading in, I believe it was an Escalade. And it was a beautiful looking Escalade.
We're going to the dad cam.
And we're going to the dad cam, I understand. And it was a beautiful Escalade. And I went out and I appraised it.
Yeah.
And I inspected it, and I couldn't find anything. And I put whatever amount of money I put in it. And then it turned out, upon deeper inspection, that it had
after you had bought it,
after we had traded it, that it had been in an accident, and I looked at the appraisal form that had the questions that we asked customers. Has the vehicle ever been in an accident and things like that, that the customer was supposed to sign.
Yep.
The salesperson didn't get him to sign it, and I didn't catch that the salesperson didn't get him to sign it. So that's shame on me, not shame on the salesperson.
Yep.
And we took the vehicle to the auction, and we lost $5,000 selling that vehicle at the auction as a vehicle that hadn't had body work. And so, yeah, I mean, do customers ever get over on the dealerships? Absolutely. It's a two-way street. You just hear more about it when it's the dealership getting over on the customer. But there are unscrupulous people, whether they be dealership personnel or whether they be customers. Everybody's trying to protect their own best interest, not necessarily the fair interests of all.
Yeah. We've got from Matt here. After we order a car with a signed out the door price, how do I protect myself with getting a fair interest rate? Because the financing is only done once the car arrives. It's a good point.
The financing, many lending institutions will lock in rates for 30 to 60 days. So you can start locking in your rates when if the dealer is in communications with you and says, hey, your car's been built, here's the date it's scheduled to ship, here's the ETA to the dealership. And they should know that 30, 45 days out, they let you know that, then you can start doing your research on getting your car loan in order and checking the rates and locking in a rate.
Talking to your credit union.
Yeah, kind of like you do on a mortgage.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We've got Will Be Trucking again. Thanks for being here. Can you I love the avatar as well. Can you comment on the story today about if the feds raise interest rates and the auto industry losing billions? I saw this in Auto News. It was like 2 or 3 days ago. Maybe it was just the other day. The idea that if the feds raise rates, there's going to be less consumer demand. We're going to lose.
Well, here's the deal. It's not if.
It's when.
It's when the Fed raises rates. And they've been saying for 4 or 5 months now that they anticipated raising rates, that they will be raising rates probably sometime in March. One of the ways, apparently, that you fight inflation is to make it harder for people to spend money by raising the cost of borrowing that money. So, yes, but how much are they going to raise the rates? 1/4 of a point? 1/2 a point?
It is fascinating, though, because even small increases across a longer lifetime of the loan make a bigger impact.
Yes, of course, especially if you're doing 6-year and 7-year financing.
And we've moved to normalize 6-year, 7-year, 8-year financing.
Yeah, but I just, will it become harder for some people to get loans? Will the payment go up significantly enough that they would rethink making the purchase? I'm sure there's a small percentage of people that might impact. Is it going to cost the automobile industry billions? I think that would be a rather a large,
extravagant and over the top.
It's not extravagant, exaggerated.
Exaggerated.
Yeah.
Did you get today's Wordle?
Huh?
You're not playing.
I don't do Wordle. So no, I didn't.
Joseph, Oldsmobile would pay us to attend the New England Auto Show as master text to answer questions.
Oh, that was great. And I'm guessing, and I'm just guessing, especially on a Saturday, if your dealership service department wasn't open on a Saturday, it was a way for you to pick up a few extra dollars. But if you're a salesperson, I know back in Arizona that for the auto show in Phoenix, at the Jaguar store, I think there were 2 Jag stores in the Phoenix area, or maybe just one. But they would, for whatever salespeople worked the show, they would buy them a nice high quality suit.
Wow!
For having helped them and work the show.
Makes sense.
They did something for them. Excuse me. And I can tell you, other manufacturers did absolutely nothing for them. Wouldn't even cover the park.
All right, let's keep moving through here, Pops. We've got from Darren, will manufacturers continue with normal MSRP tags, Monroney labels, allowing local dealers to add their additional markup to them at will? Or do you see inflation in the MSRP quotes coming out from the manufacturer. So good question here. Do we think that MSRPs are just going to go up?
I think MSRPs are going to go up because the consumers have proven to everybody involved that they're willing to pay more than what the MSRP is. Do I think that the manufacturers will raise the MSRP enough that it will stop the dealers from either doing a market adjustment or adding dealer installed accessories? I do not.
Yeah.
Dealers will push the consumers as far as they can.
And that goes back to the memos from Ford and GM saying essentially don't do that. But you and I have talked about it enough times now. They just don't have actually any. They have these agreements, but if they only enforce them from time to time, then they lose a lot of the validity.
And when it's just a suggested retail price, that's what it is, a suggested retail price.
Yeah.
It's not, who sets the market.
Huh.
And I used to have this conversation with customers all the time. They go, well, you guys are asking too much for your cars. And I go, well, you know who sets the market price? You go, who? I said, you do, the consumers. It's whatever you people are willing to pay.
Yeah.
If you as a consumer and enough of you as consumers say, I'm not willing to pay that, then the market price will go down. And as long as there's enough people going, yes, I'm willing to pay more, then the market prices will go up. And you're the ones, the consumers are the ones that determine what the actual market is on any of these vehicles.
Let's keep moving and grooving. Lots of chat questions here. Edsel Ford just bought a new RAV4 yesterday at MSRP. Who would have thought that would be considered a good deal? That's a great deal.
Yeah. In today's world, unfortunately, that's a great deal.
Nicely done. Yeah. We've got another question here from Darren. The 2024s start coming in the summer of 2023.
Yeah.
Is it all GMs that are going 100% electric? It's by 2035 that GM wants to go 100% electric. But it's a good point. We are actually, like, some of the manufacturers, who was it? Was it Chrysler that said they were going to go all electric by 2025?
By 2025, yeah.
That's total BS.
Yes,
they got no chance of doing that.
That is correct.
Polly.
Yeah.
Ray.
Yeah.
I need your expert mini. I like how the end eyes. It's kind of cute, honestly.
It's all supposed to be capped.
But it's kind of cute.
It is.
It's cute. Before I take delivery of my new mini so they don't fleece me.
Okay, what do you want me to tell you?
We'll wait for more, Polly.
Yeah, Polly, do you want me to tell you they're really quirky vehicles? They are. They're really fun.
Get a quote from us on the extended warranty before you just buy it at the dealership. You can negotiate that.
Here's the one thing that I'll share with you that every customer who buys a Mini or a BMW should do. At Mini, we called it a second date.
Okay.
Because there's so much technology in cars today that it's hard to get it all. After you've spent hours at a dealership going through selecting a car and your mind's not there to absorb all the information. So what I would recommend is that you make sure a week or 2 weeks or whatever it is after you get your car to set up a second date with a delivery expert or with your salesperson to go over all the technology and how all the stuff works again, so you have a better understanding as to, I can't tell you how to do 90% of the stuff that my car is capable of doing. I mean, one of the funniest things we witnessed today was I tried to use the automatic parking so that for parallel parking, and it was like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Yeah, well,
but I hit the button.
Rodney here. Thank you, Rodney, for being a part of YA.
Rodney.
In 2014, the first production year, I purchased a Polaris Slingshot. Those are neat.
Yes.
I took delayed delivery for it to be shown in the Knoxville area boat show.
Okay.
Interesting. Dealer gave me a leather jacket as a thank you gift.
Yeah. Well, one of the things
that's really neat.
Yeah, one of the things about vehicles that go into shows, if you take it, like we had a customer on a certain Mini, and there were very few of them, and we asked them to delay delivery, and we gave them some swag for doing it, that we wouldn't let other people drive it, but we wanted to let other people sit in it and be able to see it.
Mm-hmm.
If he would allow us 3 days to let people come in to see it. So I mean, dealers are willing to work with you. Well, good dealers are willing to work with you.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Pops, this is from BP Thomas Trucking. What are your thoughts on Lucid? I'm interested in the vehicle. The Lucid Air looks incredible. However, I'm more concerned about production and delivery times, and you should be.
Yes.
that one. But no, the Lucid Air looks
Looks gorgeous, and it's what, $150 or $175,000 vehicle, so it ought to be gorgeous for the money.
If you can get your hands on it, go for it. But it's
Yeah.
going to be certainly a wait before
Yeah.
you get it. Space here saying manufacturers have increased the MSRP so much they will be okay to continue offering promo APRs. I think you're probably right, Space.
Yeah.
And that's backed up here by Happy Hippo. I picked up my 2022 Lexus in December, and I just checked the Lexus website, and the base has already increased $1,250 for the same 2022 model. That's kind of the new normal.
Yes. Yeah.
And you know, Tesla.
Well, I was about to say Tesla only increased the MSRPs
10 grand.
Yeah, 15.
But they're I
20%.
think they're beginning to normalize the idea of like we can just raise the price whenever,
anytime we want. And with them, you can't even negotiate.
No. Jordan's got a question for you, Pops.
Yeah.
Ray, tell us about the 1980s with those 20% interest rates. What was that like?
Oh God, it was tough. it was tough. It was tough to sell a car. It was tough to buy a house. I remember your mother and I, we bought a house, and we were so thrilled because we got like a 15% adjustable rate mortgage.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because mortgage
an
rates
ARM?
were because mortgage rates were like 18-19% at the time. With the hope that rates would go down. Auto loans were 18 to 20%. But also the thing you have to remember is, at least at that time, cars were a little more reasonably priced than they are today.
It is interesting to think about that. Yeah.
I mean, so if a car was $8,000 or $10,000, you could, even at a higher interest rate, that's when we started taking people out to 48 and 60-month loans. Was at that point so that you can make the payment affordable, even though the rates were high. But today, if the average new car transaction price is close to $50,000, and people say put down their typical nothing or 10%, and they're financing $45,000, and the interest rates were 9 or 10%,
that wouldn't pencil.
It wouldn't. I mean, I don't know how you ever create a long enough term to make the payment low enough where somebody could say, yeah, I can afford that on a monthly basis.
Yeah. It does sound like a crazy
but
time.
it was tough to have interest rates like that.
I'm sure. All right, we've got here from Vincent, Pops.
Yeah.
He's waiting for the Philadelphia Auto Show in March. I like the idea of just looking with no pressure.
Well, of course, that's why people go.
No, it was kind of interesting, to see that. That's exactly what it was.
Yes. Your partner's wife, she was there to look at cars because she was thinking, hey, I'd like to get a new one at some point. And that's what, where else can you go to see any number of cars that you might be interested in, where you don't have anybody breathing down your neck trying to say, hey, so if I could get you the right numbers, you ready to take that car home today? You can just look. You can look, touch, feel.
It's kind of nice.
A sense of what it is without any pressure. The problem is that there's not all the brands are represented. There could be things out there that you might be interested in where they're just not at the show.
Yeah. I imagine Philly's probably going to be like DC. It's not going to be that.
And I got to say, from my perspective, as somebody that's spent 43 years in the retail automobile business, I spent 12 hours a day, every day, looking at, talking about, appraising cars every day. Okay. And so the concept of going to an automobile show where I could walk around just looking at cars, it was like, okay, I'm still at work. I don't want to do this.
Yeah. No, I totally get it.
Which was why the other day when somebody said, what are you looking forward to the most at the auto show? And I said the exit, because nothing made me happier than when we were walking out those front doors. It was a little breezy. It was a little chilly.
It's from CK.
Yeah.
Dealers still making profit if selling a new vehicle at invoice. How much profit is built into the invoice price?
Well, there's not profit built into the invoice price. There's holdback that's built in. That's below the line money that they get. And if they sell cars quickly, there's floor plan assistance that can then become a profit center. There can be advertising assistance that can become a profit center if they're not spending any money on marketing. and there could be dealer incentives from the manufacturer, but there was an interesting by the numbers that I sent to Zach the other day in
Yeah.
regards to incentives. They're down like 50% from a year ago that the manufacturers are
And
spending.
they were down then even. Yeah.
Yes, that the manufacturers are spending to get consumers to buy their cars. So, in answer to your question, it's holdback basically. If the car's been on the lot at all, could have eaten up the floor plan assistance.
Yeah.
Um,
No, but invoice is invoice. There's not
Yeah,
profit above
yeah.
that. It's all the
there's below the line money that you get when you sell the car, and holdback is something that you get when you sell the car, and typically it's paid quarterly. So the dealer knows that money's coming in once he sold the car. He might have sold it at invoice, and on his books at that very moment, it might show the profit because there was the holdback, but he might not be getting that holdback for 90 days.
Yeah, 100%. All right, let's go through the chat here, Pops. We've got, we're going to end with this one. What do you think of Tom Brady retiring? We'll come back to that. This is from Suzanne. What do you recommend to do and how to negotiate a monthly lease payment after you get the out the door price on the car? I've got the price on the
Yes.
car, and of
Yeah.
course, it's at MSRP, no discounts offered. So
Okay.
negotiating the lease, the other piece would be the money factor,
Yeah,
right?
the money factor. The residual you can't negotiate because that is set by the lender. But what you can negotiate is the money factor. You need to find out if they're selling you the money at their buy rate. For instance, we were doing a lease calculation the other day on a Subaru.
Yeah, that video will
And-
be out on Monday.
And
Yeah.
the money factor that they were charging the customer was 0.00185, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
Well, the buy rate from Subaru Finance is to the dealer is 0.00135. So they marked it up 50 basis points, which is the max that Subaru allows them to mark it up. So what the customer needs to do is say, well, okay, I understand you're trying to charge me 0.00185 as a money factor, and I understand your buy rate is 0.00135. I'd like you to calculate it at that.
Because that was about $1,000 over the course of the lease.
Exactly. And so now you can negotiate whatever markup there's going to be on the buy rate. And even if you get it reduced to 25 basis points, it's still going to save you close to $500. So that's the only thing that you can really negotiate on the lease is the money factor.
And that's the interest portion.
Yes.
We've got from Ryan, if rates continue to go up, do you expect demand to decrease? Absolutely. I mean, I think that's a pretty obvious one. If it becomes more expensive to borrow, then people are going to borrow less money. That's the unfortunate reality. But then it's so fascinating because the prices of goods, because of inflation, are going up so rapidly. And if you don't raise interest rates, then you're going to continue to see that. So
Yes. I don't know. I just think that this is a country of haves and have-nots, and those that have, regardless of what interest rates do, will until it really starts to impact their lifestyle.
Yep.
Will continue to spend their money and borrow the money, and those that don't have as much, those are the folks that will get impacted by it, not the people, because it all goes back to what I've always said. Those that can afford to pay the most pay the least, and those that can afford to pay the least pay the most. So if with interest rates going up, those that can afford it the least are the ones that are going to get hurt the most.
No, I hear you.
It's not the other way around.
We've got from Do Over. How do we become a YA member? Love your show.
Well,
Pops,
that's pretty simple.
I'm going to share my screen really
Yeah,
quick. If you head to
Yeah.
joinyaa.com, you
Yeah.
can search for cars.
Yeah.
What's the name of car?
God, what did we look at today?
Uh,
A Subaru Forester Wilderness. Okay, Forester.
Whoops, I missed it. Forester. You can search for cars back on joinyaa.com. So here we're going to see all the Subaru Foresters for sale here in our area. What's
Yeah.
nice about what we've done, well, this is a used one, but still you'll be able to see, we've got you on the breakdown of what the actual total price will be, the out the door price, and you can see what the extended warranty options are as well. Plus, we've got all of the day's supply information, how many are available and how many have sold recently. So we've got the car search. We also have the extended warranty. So if you're
Yeah.
going to buy an extended warranty, we're not telling you should or you shouldn't, but if you're going to buy one, get a quote from us. We
Yes.
break down
But
everything.
how do you become a member?
How do you become a member?
Yes.
This tab, membership, plans and pricing. What do you get with the YA membership? Coaching at your convenience, booking repairs at repair shops. You won't get taken advantage of again. The whole idea is peace of mind. We break down for you here what you actually get when you become a YA member.
Yeah.
$19.99 a month, or you do it for the year. It's $100, $99
Yeah.
a year. And you got all your coaches. Got all your coaches here to actually help you out. And so anyway, take a peek, join ya.com/plans. And I saw Pops.
Yeah.
I saw.
Yeah.
Hey, Kimberly.
Miss Kimberly Klein, the F&I goddess herself. I missed you today, Kimberly.
I did too, but I'm glad that you did not come. It was, it was an auto show.
Yeah, it was an auto show,
an auto
Kimberly.
show.
You know what they had at the auto show?
Cars.
They had cars.
All right, we've got from Catboy.
Yeah.
Is that consumer controls the pricing thing really true, Ray? In this climate where demand is so great, there's always someone to pay an outrageous price. I think you were sharing with me. We're starting to see the end of the demand is going to just like carry this.
The market is set by the consumers,
and it's softening.
Yes, if people are willing to pay, then that's the market. That becomes the normal. If people are no longer willing to pay, then the pricing will go down, and that will become the market. It's not what the dealer wants to pay, it's what the customer's willing to pay that determines the market. And if the customers are willing to pay what the dealers are asking, then that's today's market. But it can be adjusted if enough people say, I don't want to play anymore. I'm mad as hell. I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not putting up with this anymore. I'm not putting up with these prices. I'm taking my wallet, my checkbook, my credit cards, my good credit, and I'm walking out.
Not only am I walking out, I'm actually going to stopbuyingcars.com.
There you have it.
Who's that guy?
Oh my God. Where was the dad cam when we needed it? Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
All right, Pops, let's come back here. We've got another question from Suzanne. Thanks, you guys are awesome. Glad you think that. Thank you. Do you multiply the money factor by a certain number,
Yes,
which banks? Yep, 2,400.
2,400, and that will give you the approximate
interest rate.
APR, annual percentage.
Chris,
rate.
my daughter will be a first-time buyer. She should probably get a YA membership, Chris, so that she has coaching by her side. With a trade-in, are there any special deals for first-time buyers? What is the most important thing she should know? Deal School also is a really good resource. Just Google search YAA Deal School. But no, first-time car buyers typically, if they're recent college grads or something like that.
And Chris, if your daughter's a first-time car buyer, go with her, so that she doesn't get taken advantage of.
And have us come with her. Honestly, like that's literally
because she's not.
No, space is hitting the note. She can find it at the YA community forum, Deal School 2.0. Like actually, sorry, gang. Sometimes we jump around a lot, but this is where another option. Go to resources, go to forum. Honestly, we should put Deal School up in the navigation. I don't know why we haven't. Here's Deal School 2.0.
The guy that designs it.
That's me. These are all free videos, Chris. She can click on any of these. How to understand your local market here, how to find car, right? Like everything's right here. It's just a video. And then we have Finance and Insurance 101. So she can see what to do in the F&I office and what not to do in the F&I office. These are role play videos.
Yes.
These will literally show her what the F&I manager is going to say to her. So these are all really good resources that she can leverage.
Yes, and don't if she walks into a dealership and she tells them she's a first-time buyer, she's just going to get taken advantage of unless she has some knowledge before she gets in there. And if she's the type of person that will watch some videos and take some notes and learn a little bit, then great, have her do that. If she's not, then go with her. And even if she doesn't live in your area, you need to fly to her area and go with her.
No, you're defeating the purpose of YAA. The idea is that you don't have to fly there. That if you just become a member, you have. But you should also fly there. Okay.
Yeah.
Anywhere.
Yeah.
With YouTube and the internet, are dealer experts really needed? I think this is kind of the question of like people in the dealership to like sell the cars. Like people are coming in so informed. That's how I interpreted it. Or is it saying like people like us don't need to exist? Which, quite frankly, if the price of the car was just the price of the car,
we wouldn't need to exist.
And that'd be that's what we're working towards.
Yeah. That would be a perfect world, and Zach would be looking for a different job.
Which would be fine.
Yeah.
We've had this discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, do you need people that really know the cars? Yeah, you do. Because they're really complicated today. And even when they weren't that common, you need to know what's standard on a car. You just need to know. Somebody needs to know.
See, Justice knows what I'm trying to say. Have her become a premium member and take live chat with her to the dealership. Yeah. You literally just like text us on your phone.
And live chat is when?
Monday through Friday, 9 to 9.
Okay.
9 to 9.
Perfect.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, I wanted to pull up something here. Where was it? Oh, E-Train wanted to know, is there an email template for the out-the-door factory ordered car? Yes, there is. Going to show that as well.
I do believe, yeah.
You can actually access it now if you just search. So I'm going to go back to joinya.com. And if you search for a car, let's say I want a factory order. Oh, well, that's interesting. I don't know if it'll show up here. You can get it, I think, through the free buying guide.
Well, if you don't know, nobody knows.
Download email templates. There you go. So you just click on a car and then go to negotiate with
there's
dealers.
Other places to.
Yeah, there's other places, but I think that's going to be the easiest one for you. Is just to do that. Okay, Pops.
Yeah.
There we go. Javid, thank you. Saw the first review. Ryan's acted on the GV70. So much fun. Thank you.
It was fun. We had a good time. I mean, let me set the record straight for people. If you're thinking that a review that we do of a car is going to be like a real review, we'll go over the basics with you. The horse.
We're not going to be Throttle House. We're not going to be Savage Geese. We're not going to be Straight Pipes. We're not going to be.
We're going to have. It's going to be conversational. We're going to go over the gas mileage, the towing capacity, the horsepower, the torque, the size of the engines, the base price of the vehicles, whether or not we think it's a vehicle that you could take to Costco and bring back all you need to bring back, whether or not it's easy to get into or get out of, and how intuitive it is for a 70-year-old man to figure out how to work things in the car. And that's different than what anybody else is doing. It is not what would be considered.
And some buying guides, like what's the day's supply.
Yeah, but it's not. It's not what would be considered just an informational review. It is a conversational review, and apparently, with the few we've done so far, part of it is the scare the bejesus out of your father part of the review.
Yeah, please tune into the BMW M3. Like, that is a very funny video. Like, that is just going to be, and honestly, even the Bronco, I scared you in the Bronco.
Yeah, you did.
I scared you in a freaking Tucson.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, I didn't trust the Tucson.
This poor Tucson was.
Well, maybe it was just all the noise that scared me.
Indeed. We've got here from Darren, Dad, like that bracelet.
Well, thank you.
Want to sell me one?
There you have them. I got
one of them was a gift.
Yeah, this one was a gift from the lovely F&I goddess herself, Kimberly Klein, and the others are just beads that I buy from Bally Bead Company or whatever the hell they're called. I get them online from Amazon, and I probably have 8 or 10 of them.
Yeah, they look good
in different colors.
All right, let's wrap up tonight's show, Dad, with this.
Yeah.
Hey, Pops, what do you think of Tom Brady retiring?
Well, personally, I think he'd be a fool not to. He suffered one really major knee injury in his entire career.
Mm-hmm.
He's 44 years old. He'll be 45, I believe, next August. The body becomes a tad more brittle the older you get.
Mm-hmm.
It's a violent game. You've pretty much come through it in 22 years somewhat unscathed. I don't know why you'd want to risk all that for a 23rd year.
Yeah.
At that age, when you have young children and you want to spend time with them and your wife, and it's not like he needs the money.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm pretty sure somebody will be knocking on his door saying, well, we'd like you to do Monday Night Football or Sunday night for some football, and we'll pay you $20 million.
Yeah, exactly. It's not the money. Yeah. Suzanne with another question. Will the dealer disclose the buy rate on a lease? They don't have to.
They don't have to, but
that's why that's why you go to the forum.
And you go to the forum because I'll tell you, somebody that seems to have his ear to the money factor ground is Space.
Yep. And everyone on the forum, Space, Phil, Kimberly, Candace, everyone's working with like hundreds of people to help them with their car deals, and so we have access
Yes.
to information that you might not have. Okay, Dad.
Yeah.
Put Pops on cover of GQ magazine. Darren, you had a lot of good questions tonight. This one's a little off base.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm well dressed. I'm wearing a light blue alpaca sweater, for God's sake. That only a 70-year-old.
You know the cool thing about the dad cam?
No, what's that?
Cool thing about the dad cam. It's actually a GoPro, so you stay there.
I'm not going anywhere. But I still want to know what the cool thing is. Yeah. Oy, I'll tell you. Yeah, I can. Yeah. How's my hair look? I got a haircut the other day.
Oh no, Dad can't fall.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah, last Sunday I got a haircut. Yeah. I'm thinking the next step is just shaving my head. Yeah.
Don't do that.
Well, I've always wanted to look more and more like Bruce Arians. I could shave my head and I could gain about 30 pounds. Oh my God. Maybe the cover of ARP. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'm sure they're looking for me.
All right, gang. Thanks everyone for joining us tonight. Sorry we started a little early. Just gonna hang out here for the hour, but appreciate that. You're
Yes.
tired. I'm tired.
I'm tired. You have a party
I got
to
a
go
rally.
to. Yeah, you better. You better. I'm
I
just,
know,
you find that energy. You're young yet.
I know.
Yeah. So your girlfriend's expecting you to go to the party and be the life of the party.
You
So
need
go
to
ahead.
trim those nose hairs, Pops.
Oh, stop it.
All right, everyone. Good night. Thanks so much.
Good night, all.